I'm here with the beautiful Maya Vander. So I've been recently enjoying watching Selling Sunsets on Netflix. I find it very intriguing because selling real estate in the Los Angeles market can be glorious, given the area's sunny location and an abundance of the rich and famous living there. It can also be cutthroat as agents fight over clients and properties. Selling Sunset showcases the ups and downs of being a realtor in LA. One of my favorite realtors on the show is Maya Vander. You can tell that she really understands her clients' needs and is a natural negotiator. I think that the skills that realtors use to be successful in their jobs can apply to many other career paths out there. There was even a point in my life where I even considered becoming a realtor, so I'm really excited to hear a story. So, Maya, you grew up in Israel and you had family history of investing in properties and flipping homes. Was that something you were passionate about growing up, or what was your career before becoming a realtor?
Yeah, so my dad was doing it overseas long, long time ago. So I was actually very little when he was doing those little flips. So it wasn't like he wasn't like some crazy big developer, but so it's not like I grew up with real estate and that was in my blood. So I was always doing just a regular job. I was working in LA when I first moved in a clothing store as a salesperson. So I was mainly in retail until I got my license back in 2012. So it just my mom told me, hey, why don't you do real estate? And I decided to take the class.
Right. Yeah. So, what was the process of becoming a realtor? Was it a lot of exams, or was it just one exam?
No, so it's one exam. You have a class in LA. Back then, it took me about 3 months. In Florida, I did it in 1 month. So you go through the class. You have a bunch of topics, and by the way, none of them is related to what you're actually doing in real life. But you have to pass that, and you have one exam. And people think it's so easy, and if you study, it is easy, but you have to study and the questions are pretty tricky. So basically a class plus final exam. So yeah, I would say if you take the real estate course, make sure you study.
Right. Yeah. So when you become a realtor, you need to sign on with a brokerage. And for people that don't really know, what does that entail and how much kind of commission
Yeah.
do they usually take?
Right. So people confuse between a real estate agent and a real estate broker. So in order to sell properties, you have to hang your license under a brokerage. So the brokerage is basically technically your boss, and they take and assume all the liabilities. And because of that, they take a percentage of your commission. So let's say average sale, you get 2.5, 3% commission. From that commission, your broker take his split. So every company is different. Usually, let's assume a lot of new real estate agent, the split will start 60-40. So you get to keep 60%, your broker will take 40. Some of them will do 70-30. It really depends on the company again. So out of those 2.5, 3%, your brokerage will take the cut. And you could be your own broker, but you have to obviously gain experience, and you need to sell real estate for 2 years before you become a broker if you want to do that.
Okay, right. And how competitive is the industry in LA, like as a realtor?
Very competitive, yeah. So there are a lot of agents, and they're great, and everybody basically fight for the same sales, right? So I used to door knock, and every time I used to go and door knock, meaning asking someone at the door, hey, are you looking to sell or are you looking to move? They always told me, oh, I had like 3 agents before you already come into my house this morning. So it is competitive, and you have to be aggressive and you know and fight basically and to generate clients all the time. So it's not as easy as we see in Selling Sunset. I wish it was, but it's not the case.
Yeah, and
Takes time.
yeah, speaking of selling Sunset, how did you get signed on with the Oppenheim Group and how did that relationship start?
Yeah, so I knew, it's a small community, the brokerage community and the agents, like everybody pretty much know each other. And you go to the same open houses and all that. So you do have a good network of agents. When Jason started his own brokerage, he approached me. I asked if I want to join. And I really loved his marketing material. And I like the fact that it was a very, very small company. So small that it was just me, him, Brett, his brother, and another guy named Graham. So just the four of us, basically. I was the first girl. I always say that, but I'm very proud. I was the first one, and then the rest came and joined. So he asked me if I want to join, and I decided to leave my other company to go to Jason's.
Okay. And did the other people join after the show or was this before the show?
No, so everyone joined before the show, way before the show. The only one who joined once we actually were about to film, like actually two of them, Davina and Chriselle joined last.
Okay, yeah. And you also go back and forth to Miami and you're a realtor there as well. So what are kind of the main differences in the real estate market with LA and Miami?
Yeah, so now I'm actually in Miami more because I just had my baby, but so I'm gonna probably stay here for a while. But you know, LA, I think it's a very stable market because everybody wants to be in LA. It's the entertainment industry. So even if you also have, let's say, you know, bad economy, there is a lot of money in that city. So I think LA in a way is a sense of a bubble. Miami, thankfully, we do have international buyers in here that always want to come and have this nice, fun vacation home. So I would say they're also less emotional about the purchasing because they just want to come a couple of times a year, enjoy the weather, and then go back to either, you know, New York or Canada or, you know, Latin America or Europe. LA, when you buy a property, you look into where you're going to be in the next 7 to 10 years on average because the prices are more expensive. So that's the main difference. And price point is a little bit different. Miami is cheaper.
Okay, yeah. And do you remember the first property that you sold and how did you
Oh,
get your
yeah.
first client?
Yeah, so the first property was a small condo in LA, in West LA, and I sold it for $350,000. And it took me about 9 months from getting the license and selling this condo. It was my first deal. And I got it because I worked with an associate in my company that his uncle was the one buying, but he didn't want to do all the work. So I was doing all the work and basically we split the commission. So, you know, 2.5% of brokerage take a fee, then you have to split it, then you have to pay taxes. So I got like $50 left. I'm
Okay.
kidding. A little bit more than that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so as a realtor, your commission is truly based on the housing market, which is always changing. And so
Yeah.
how do you kind of deal with that, especially now with COVID, like a kind of like an unstable environment? So how do you deal with
Yeah, you know, I drink wine every night. Kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I love to have my one glass. But look, it's not a salary. And by the way, I'm holding my baby, so sorry if she's making noises. If she
no
gets
problem?
crazy, I'll hang it to my husband. Look, it's commission based, right? So you have to hustle, and even in you know, uncertainty like COVID and obviously just general the economy, you have to somehow be creative and stay in touch with your maybe previous clients and try to see who is actually looking for opportunities to buy deals. But yeah, that's the stressful part with real estate. You're not on a salary. So let's say even if I close a deal tomorrow and I make a great check, let's say 40, $50,000 commission, which is for some people it's if you don't sell for 3, 4, 5 months, that commission, you know, can be very well spent very quickly, especially if you have taxes on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with COVID, how has that changed for you? Are you still doing like online open houses or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so you know, around that time also I had my baby. So you know, I only did showings. I don't have any listing right now that I need to sit open houses or do the showing. I only work with buyers and or you know, potentially even renters, people who wants to lease to rent. So you know, when we couldn't show, pretty much it was on hold. I am under contract with a client of mine, but he's also buying a pre-construction condo in Miami. So, you know, he only needs to see pictures of the project and renderings. It doesn't require, you know, a showing because the project is not even, you know, finished. So I was lucky with that. But now we resume showings. So I'm going to, you know, do individual showing with my clients. But yeah, it's been more quiet for sure. And, you know, at least for me, I took the time also to obviously prepare to giving birth and enjoy the time with the family a little bit.
Yeah, of course. And I wanted to ask, as a woman in real estate in LA, do you often have to deal with certain stereotypes or expectations to look a certain way? And because real estate is an industry mostly dominated by men, so do you find it hard to be heard?
I think for me, people take through the years, maybe now that I'm married with kids and I also sold properties, people give me more credibility. But in the beginning, it was challenging because I don't think people took me as serious, especially men. But like, and I gave everybody the benefit of the doubt, but I did waste a lot of my time because people just thought, I'm just a cute girl and that's pretty much it. So now that I sold and I'm in a different phase in my life, I think I'm being taken more seriously. So unfortunately, the beginning was a little bit more challenging as a woman.
Yeah. And how did you build your reputation? And what are some things that separate you from like your competition?
There are great agents out there. For me, I'm always available for my clients, so they can reach me out at Sunday at 10 p.m. I'm very responsive. I answer my emails very quickly, even now with kids, maybe less quickly, but still very responsive. And I'm just, I listen to my clients, and I know the market very well. So I want to bring some knowledge because today everybody can go on Zillow and Trulia, and they already kind of know what's going on. So you want to have a little bit more knowledge and show that you can add value. So I don't know if it makes me different than other agents,
Mhm.
but I'm very honest with them too. If I don't like a house or a condo, I would give them my honest opinion in a gentle way. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And now do you still do a lot of cold calling, or a lot of your clients' referrals?
So cold calling, I used to call for sale by owners. So I used to do that. I've been doing a little bit of that before COVID started for sale by owner because I know those are more target clients. They want to sell, but they don't want to pay the commission. So that's the challenge here with those guys. Door knocking, I haven't door knocked in a while, but I'm going to start driving to construction sites because maybe I'll be lucky and I'll meet a developer. So I'm going to start doing that. During COVID, I was trying to actually stay away a little bit because people were stressed, a lot of uncertainty, and the last thing I wanted to do is bother and solicitate people for business unless I had something amazing or an amazing deal that was worth for me approaching them. So now I'm starting to. My husband is walking in, but I do have a husband. He's not on the show, but he exists. He's never on the show. I cannot show him on the show. But anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, so now I'm starting to get back into it as far as the at least door knocking construction site. But cold calling, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm better face to face than cold call, to be honest.
Yeah. And so going to the show, of course, Selling Sunset,
No.
what is it like filming it? And is that kind of an accurate representation of day to day, or is that a little bit more glorified, I guess?
I feel like the deals, look, all the deals happened, but they definitely didn't happen over one phone call. It's more negotiation involved, it's more showings. A lot of deals can fall apart. Selling Sunset, to film it, it's great. I mean, I had a great time. I love all the girls. We all get along, or at least I get along with all of them. And I enjoy every moment. I feel very lucky and thankful to be part of it. I'm glad it's doing well. We get generally good response. But yeah, I can tell you 100%, not all the deals are easy. And in the show, maybe it looks a little bit easier because we have to show 30 minutes of that, but it's more complicated in real life to do real estate. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wish it was easy.
Yeah. So how long does it usually take on average to close a deal? I know it
Yeah,
differs, but yeah.
yeah, it is different. But the average, let's say if you take a client out, which by the way, that client you can show him maybe 5 houses and you can show the 550 houses, right? So let's say a couple of months you take them around, unless it's a developer. Developer is a little bit different. But let's take the average, first time buyer or even second or third time buyer. You take them out, and if they put an offer from putting the offer to close, usually it's about 30 days to 45 days
Hmm. And
between
how,
writing the offer and yeah,
yeah.
closing.
So how has the show kind of changed your career as a realtor? Do people recognize you? Do they want to work with you? Do they avoid working with you? So,
Thankfully, I didn't get any people who wanted to avoid working with me. That was my main concern doing the reality show because, as you know, it's not just real estate; it's a lot of other personal stuff, and I can't be completely boring in the show. Otherwise, I mean, I am the most boring one, but I
no,
also didn't
well,
want to jeopardize. Thank you. I didn't want to jeopardize my career because I worked really hard to build it. So people do approach me all the time. Yes, they recognize me on the street. After first season, a lot. Now, we're obviously hiding with masks, so maybe less, and I don't really go too much to places. But yeah, people approach me from overseas and from all over the world, so that's kind of interesting to see. And I feel like actually I get even more credibility because of the show. So I think it's going to help. First season was a nice test to see what's going to happen. We have another season that just came out and another one that's going to come out. So hopefully it will actually give me more business, maybe some more speaking engagements about real estate, and we'll see.
Yeah, and do you mostly sell luxury properties in LA?
No,
No, or is it
no.
everything?
Look, in LA, every tear down, every basically, excuse me for my language, shitty property costs you 1.5 million. So if you're coming from another state, 1.5, it's like a mansion. But in Miami, for instance, I'm working right now on someone who wants to rent and he wants to pay $3,000, and I'm helping him. It's totally fine. And I'm working with lower price point condos, because a lot of condos in Miami, this is what I said, they're 300,000, 400,000. So you're doing basically the same work for way less commission. But for me, my attitude is every transaction is a transaction, and you just never know what it's going to lead to. So, and I'm working with a client for $5 million house right now too. So, it's varies. Basically, I work with whoever wants to do a business and ready to do a business. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's a lease rent, or lower or higher income. Property. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So for the show's storyline, do the producers give you a certain direction, or is it actually representative of what you guys do?
Yeah, so it's not scripted. We have the cameras rolling. We are all at the office. Things are being said. Yeah, if they wanted to film me showing a developer, they will obviously say, "Hey, like, bring your client. We want to film you, showing the house, and whatever happens, happens." So that's of course planned, because everything is not surprise. But as far as like script or the fights or the mini dramas that we had and transactions that are not closing, that's just all happen, and it is what it is. And unfortunately, we did have all these like mini drama, which makes the show at the same time. But it just happened. We're all together in the same place. We film 4 or 5 days a week, couple
Right.
of hours a day. So things will always,
Of
things will
course.
be said. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, we're human. So what kind of clients do you have in LA and in Miami?
So they're all different. Like I have a client right now from overseas. He wants to buy something in LA. So I'm in Miami right now, but obviously if he's serious and he's willing to come look at places, I'm going to take the flight and I'm going to do that. So, he's more like a young guy, for instance, who wants to restart his company in LA. In Miami, I'm working with, like a guy who just wants to buy a cool condo on the beach. I'm working with another first-time buyers that they are couples right now. So my clients are pretty much diverse. Like, yeah, they are from everywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm not, yeah, not specific demographic or anything like that.
Right, yeah. So being a realtor, there aren't that many days off. So are you constantly working? How involved are you in your listings?
Yeah, so right now I don't have a listing. I had one in Miami, but we didn't sell it, so we're taking a break. We took it off the market. And in LA, I'm not taking a listing right now because I'm physically in Miami, so I don't want to do. I'm a control freak. If I cannot take a listing that I can physically do open houses and do all of that, I wouldn't do it. Um, so look, because I have a newborn also, and she's 1 month. I'm taking it a little bit more easy, but my schedule is flexible. So let's say tomorrow I have clients who wants to see a couple of places. I'm going to go from, let's say, 9 till 1. Then I need meeting another client until 2, and then I'll go home. I'll work on emails, obviously spend time with my kids. And tonight when I put the kids to sleep, I have some emails to do and checking up, some stuff for clients. So I try to work it around my schedule with my 2 babies. Um, Most of my emails and all that, it's kind of like all over the place, all over, the day. If I have to do showings, it's mainly morning or weekends. So it's not, I don't have a set schedule, unfortunately, right now because of the babies.
Hmm.
If someone doesn't have a kids, I will recommend a set schedule. Let's say prospect from 9 till 10 or 9 till 11, then do your follow-ups. And you have to be a little bit more organized.
Right. Yeah. And obviously, being in real estate is all about negotiation. So, do you have any advice on negotiating, especially starting out when you don't have that much experience?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to give up all your cards and really, if you have a buyer and let's say they want to write an offer and they have room on price to go up, don't tell it to the agent. Right? If they want to start from the low, I mean, just write the offer, see where the seller is counter back. At the end of the day, you want to negotiate, but also you don't want to lose the deal over a couple of $1,000s, right? So I think communication with the other agents is very important, whoever represents which side. And some sellers are more motivated than others, and some buyers are more motivated than others. So it really depends on the situation. But if you know that you have a buyer that really wants a certain place, and maybe the seller is slightly, want more than what it's worth, it depends on the buyer how much they are willing to pay for it. And also when you sell a property, like if it really depends on the clients, because
Hmm.
you definitely don't want to lose your deal over too aggressive of negotiation if it's going to cost you the deal
Right.
and
Yeah.
your client to lose.
Hmm. So, yeah,
So
just,
it's hard to say because every situation is different.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's yeah, it's different for me
Hmm.
to give you a specific
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah. So, just last question to wrap things up. What are some of maybe like the top skills or qualities you think someone needs in order to be successful as a realtor?
I think, because it's such a roller coaster business, you want to be really motivated. I know it's easier to said than done, but you want to be willing to work hard and know that it's not just wearing like nice shoes and a nice dress and boom, you're gonna sell. I door knock 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, I go door to door, and I got a lot of rejections. And you have to have a thick skin for that. You want to be able to be motivated and work out to do the open houses on Sunday while everybody else are going to a bar or whatever. So you want to be willing to put the time into it. It's not just a part-time job. And you want to be also a people person and friendly, because I would say if you're not friendly, people will not like working with you.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
guess motivation, honesty, and be kind.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, those skills apply to so many other careers and not just, yeah, not just real estate.
Yeah, although a lot of top real estate agents, they're actually very douchey. They're not
Yeah.
kind, including a few that I know, but I'm not going to say
Really?
name. Kidding.
Yeah.
They're in the show. No, but
Yeah. Okay.
Jason. No,
Yeah.
no. Look, but they are great too. So everybody have their own skills.
Right.
I think just for me, being kind and honest, I
Mhm.
think it's important and obviously motivated.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't watched Selling Sunsets. It's amazing. It's binge worthy. But yeah, so thank you
Thank you,
so much for
thank
your
you.
time.
No problem. One more thing, we have another season,
Oh,
August
another
7th.
season coming.
So
Oh, yeah. That's great.
yeah, so if you guys are listening, make sure to binge watch it. And a lot of people ask me about real estate, so my email is on my Instagram. You can shoot me an email. I'm happy to always give an advice.
Great. Well, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Savannah. Thank you.